Welcome back. We're in the kitchen now with Mark Dunham of Francis Tuttle, and we are making salsa guajillo. I'm very excited about this.
Are you?
Did I say that correctly?
You did.
You said that well.
Put some energy.
Guajillo.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you got to say it with a little enthusiasm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Especially with that, with your hands turned up. And you have to, up
there you go.
There you go.
That was more Italian.
That's more Italian. Italiano, yeah. But this is, guajillo.
Okay, so what is guajillo? What is the difference between that and salsa?
Well,
so
they're all the same. I mean, salsa is just a general word for that sauce, right? Guajillos are a chili.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Widely used in Mexico and in other parts of the country, Southwest. But the main difference with this salsa, and the reason I want to do it is because everybody's going to have their 4th of July cookout, right?
Right.
So salsa typically in this part of the country is one of those things that people go to as a condiment. We want to do something a little bit different other than tomato-based.
Okay.
So in Mexico, and in many parts of Mexico, rather than being tomato-based, they're tomatillo-based.
Okay. Now, what's a tomatillo?
Tomatillo is actually, it's part of the same, the nightshade family, right? But it's more closely related to a gooseberry than it is a tomato.
All right.
I've never seen a gooseberry.
Yeah, I don't know if I know what gooseberries are either.
It's typically more sour than a tomato.
Yeah.
But it's widely grown in Mexico.
Okay.
Interesting.
This looks wrong. I mean,
looks
when you look
wrong.
at it, when you first look at it, you go,
it's a little burned.
That's wrong.
I was told I would be told that I burned everything.
But this is so right.
Okay.
This is on purpose, charring all these ingredients. Again, it's a technique from Mexico of putting a real hard char on the ingredients to impart a real depth of flavor, to change the texture of the tomatillos, to make them seem more concentrated, a little bit less acidic.
Okay.
So you can roast.
You
can do that. You can do them on the grill. You can do them in the oven. You can do them under a broiler. You can do them on a flat top. You can do them a variety of ways, just as long as they get real char.
Okay.
So basically, Abby, if you just want to take all this stuff except for, just put one of the onions in. So peel off this outer. Yep. Peel off this outer layer of skin.
Okay.
And I've already got a garlic clove peeled there for you.
I love that charred sounds way better than burned.
Well, you can call it burned. I mean, if it's intentionally done like this.
I charred it, babe. It's all right.
Yeah, there you go.
But you have to have some intention behind it. You can't just forget about it.
You know,
put the garlic in.
I'm married. I could just pretend that was my intention. That's pretty much half a marriage.
Well, you already got your see, the AARP card is there on purpose.
No.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Okay, nicely played.
You're right. I can't believe they've sent that to me. I guess that's the way I act.
So 2 cloves.
Peel it, 2 cloves. Okay.
2 cloves of garlic.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got that stuff in now. All we have to do, these chilies were toasted on a flat top for about 20 seconds apiece after the seeds and veins were removed.
Now, do these have heat to them?
They have a little bit.
Okay.
Guajillos are typically fairly mild. Depending on the dried chili, they get hotter.
Okay.
So if a Oaxacan pasilla from the state of Oaxaca is really spicy. Chipotle is really spicy, but there are certain chilies that are not. And that's the difference. This is not a tomato-based salsa. That's why it's a little bit different.
Okay.
It's typically what people eat in Mexico as opposed to tomato-based salsa.
Now, do you get this in Mexican restaurants, or?
Depending on which ones you go to.
You go to a good, authentic one?
Well, and sometimes they cater to the clientele, right?
Yeah.
Which most of the clientele around here. Put the cilantro in.
All of it, or just
there you go.
all of it?
Yep.
I love
Put a little bit of water in.
You need some of this salt?
Yeah, you go ahead. And pretty assertively. No, many pinches.
Many pinches, like a
but
handful?
But don't dump the whole thing.
Right.
One more of those.
One more? Well, man, that is a lot of salt. You don't mind any being on the counter, do you? There you go. There's one more.
Well, that's okay.
It's not our counter.
Which
just
one?
Going to,
just on?
Yep.
Just on.
Just on.
Well, there's different settings.
Now, we have such hard times with blenders.
I know.
You'd think we'd be pros at it.
Depending on the consistency, we're going to have to add a little more water.
Okay.
And this is going to need just a touch more water. And especially because tomatillos tend to congeal when they're cold. So you're going to want to have this probably a little thinner than it makes sense in your mind.
Okay.
Because once it gets cold, it'll get really tight. And if it does get really tight while it's in the refrigerator, you just pull it out, add a touch of water, thin it back down, and it's fine.
Okay.
Now this is starting to look familiar. Now I have had this quite often.
Well, one of the reasons why I like this particular salsa is the guajillos impart a really beautiful red brick flavor. Or, I'm sorry, flavor. Red brick color to it. Made 0 sense whatsoever. That's okay.
Good.
See, and a true chef always tastes it, right, before they send it out?
Well, yeah, it's like not practicing your music and then playing it for somebody.
Well, that's true.
And then expecting, so you got to taste it.
All right, so a little more water.
Now, did you put the chilies in on the stove and soak them?
Those soaked in water
Okay.
and hot water for 15 minutes. So they
Okay.
get toasted for about a minute, and they soak in hot water for about 15 minutes, and they rehydrate.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then they're blendable. And you just pour it into that ramekin.
There you go. A ramekin.
Yep.
Ramekin.
I call it a
Seriously,
pot.
with the paper towel?
What the?
You don't check your dishes before you?
Why
this
is
is
there
not,
a
this
paper
is not,
towel in
this is not
there?
fried chicken.
Come on.
Come on. Okay.
Just pour it in there and serve it with chips, and you're good to go.
Okay.
See, if we were in a rush, we probably would have served it that way.
I thought that was for real. I was like, well, this is embarrassing. But he did that, of course, on purpose.
Now, do you?
Well, the entire band looked my direction right when that
Right
when
when
that
we did
that
story came up. They were
story,
like
yeah.
investigating my tabletop and being
Yeah.
like, is he legit? What's
like
going
you're,
Okay,
yeah,
look
like you're at KFC breading chicken.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
please. You're
Look
look-
how
So
pretty
right
that
when they
is.
turned, I was,
Not my
Nice.
fault.
That's funny.
That is beautiful.
Isn't it
That's
pretty?
an
So
awesome
do you
salsa.
find guajillos just at a regular store, or do you have to go to a
pretty
Mexican
much,
store?
No, you can pretty much go to any grocery store at this point
Huh.
and find bag guajillos, usually in like 8-ounce packages or pound packages. If you go to stores in the south side of Oklahoma City, which
Yeah.
I tend to do, like on 29th and 25th, you'll find literally whole barrels full where you just buy them by the pound.
Okay,
Because
wow.
Obviously they use them a lot. So it's
You-
very mild,
You
but
just
it's
hopped
got a
right
very
into
distinct
that.
flavor.
Man, you weren't
I
messing
sure
around.
did. That's really good.
Is it good?
It's warm, yeah.
You taste the acid, and then all that acid comes from the tomatillos. There's no lime juice.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
When Drew points at it, he's like,
that is awesome. Sorry, Tostitos, I will not
So
be
the-
eating your salsa anymore.
That's funny.
I'm going to make my own.
There you go.
That's
Simple.
awesome. Thank you so
You're welcome.
much.
it's a nice change up for 4th of July.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Thanks,
We're going to
Mark.
impress some people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, coming up, we've got more music ahead from the Jason Young Band. Keep it right here.